Greetings, everyone. How are you doing? Good to see you all. Good to be seen. Sure, it definitely is good to be seen. Hey, welcome to an impromptu People's Power Lunch with me, People's Prophetess Jacquie Luqman. Really, really glad you guys are able to join today. I hope you all are doing well. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to hop into the cafeteria because, it's been a minute since we've done these. So I know it's a little surprise, but I wanted to make sure I checked in with the folks here at Black Power Media and let you know that I am all right. So thank you all for joining me. Zara K, Lucy, Leah Boggs, Emma, Volvol, Yipper99, Goddess Crew. Hey y'all, tell your friends, grab everybody. Easy D, nice to see you as well. Good to see you all. Eric Berkeley, happy to see you too. Troy Ballard, what's going on? Very, very excited to be able to do an impromptu People's Power Lunch today, just to give folks an update on what's been going on with me, how I'm doing, and what the future is going to look like very soon. So, Lady Alex M., hello, wonderful comrade yourself. Of course, you can see I am back in the studio today. So the lighting is, I haven't been in the studio for like a month, and this light is still out in this piece. So yeah, so so it's still dark in the one room that I have to do the show in the middle of the day. But really glad to be here. All right, so for those of you watching on Black Power Media, really glad that you are watching on the most dangerous platform on social media, and you're watching one of the most dangerous shows on social media. That's Luqman Nation on Black Power Media. Appreciate you. Subscribe to Black Power Media on YouTube. Follow and support on Patreon, patreon.com/Black Power Media. We're up to 20,000 followers now. Thank you or subscribers. Thank you so much. And we're obviously open for many, many more. So share Black Power Media with your friends, with your family, with your friends and family, or people and family members who don't like your political views, who are not radical, who are not aware or conscious of the battle we are in and the fact that we are at war. We are an African people and we are at war. Share with the people who need the information for everything that we do here on Black Power Media and all of the content that we have. Whew. So thank you, Emma, for pointing out, yes, Luqman Nation as a standalone channel still exists, but Luqman Nation is a part of Black Power Media. So you can also subscribe to Luqman Nation, but everything you see on Luqman Nation, you'll also see on Black Power Media, but appreciate that very much. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still alive. Thank God. Roy Wood Jr., thank God, thank the Creator, thank the ancestors, thank the Orishas. I am still here. I'm doing really, really well. I have been, let's see, dialysis training, which includes the treatments, that dialysis treatments. I guess it's been 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that. So I am pretty much cleared to carry out dialysis at home. So that's what all of this training was about. It was about teaching me how to do my dialysis treatments at home. And I have learned throughout this process so much about kidney disease, about hypertension and its relation to kidney disease, about how doctors are not proactive in alerting patients to um, indications of the onset of kidney disease, about how we, particularly African descended, Native people, First Nations people, Mexican descended people, have to advocate for ourselves in paying attention to this particular part of our aspect of our health. Um, because I have been saying of late that I'm not the smartest person on the block, right? I don't know everything, but I'm not the dumbest knife in the drawer either. I'm not the dullest knife in the drawer. I know a few things, and as knowledgeable as I thought I was about hypertension, I did not know that even stage one hypertension, remaining at stage one over a long period of time, can damage your kidneys. I did not know that there's a number you can look at on your lab work that tells you how healthy your kidneys are. It's called your EGFR number. It's actually two numbers. It's GFR. There are two numbers. There's a GFR number and there is an EGFR number. Look at those numbers, and if those numbers are below 70%, really, if they're below 80%, your kidneys ought to be functioning at near 100%. If they're not, and that number would be 100 or 90 or 80 or 70, if your kidneys are not functioning at optimal levels, that number will reflect that. And if your doctor is not raising the issue of a lowered or reduced kidney function to you, you need to know what that number means. The GFR, the EGFR number, that number is literally the capacity that your kidneys are functioning at. So if that number is 70, then that number means that your kidneys are functioning at 70% capacity. Most doctors will not pay any attention to that number until people are at the point where they need dialysis. And there is no reason for us to be paying money to go to a doctor to not alert us to an issue that we have with our health. I didn't even realize that most doctors don't even tell people about this. So I didn't know until this happened to me that there were different kinds of dialysis. The only kind of dialysis I ever knew about was the kind of dialysis where you go to a center and you sit in the chair for 4 hours and you have them drain your blood and clean, the machine cleans your blood and pumps it back in you. And then people do that 3 days a week and they are worn out for those 3 days, completely worthless, useless, can't do anything but go home and pass out. They recover the next day, and the day after that, they have to go right back to treatment. And I didn't understand before all of this happened to me that the reason in center dialysis does that to people, that people are just drained, is because there are so many people who are scheduled for those 4 hour time slots that the people are really just cycled in and out of those chairs as fast as they can get them. You get in the chair, they stick the needles in you, they turn that machine on, and it starts yanking blood out of you, yanking fluid out of you. So the exhaustion comes from the speed and the volume of the blood that they're cleaning from people and the amount of fluid that they are draining from each patient. Sometimes 3 or 4 liters of extra fluid is being drained from a patient in one sitting. That's horribly hard on your body. So, in center dialysis, while yes, it cleans the toxins that from people's blood that their kidneys would have been doing if they were working, it also dehydrates people. It also is very hard on people's body because of the intensity of the treatment. It is very intense. Alice is good to see you, and Manny now good to see you. Good to see you, Ricky Ryan. So that's why our understanding of dialysis, the people we know who have been on dialysis, that's why they're so drained at the end of a treatment, because their body has been put through the ringer and they're worn out. And they all they can do after treatment is go home, pass out, maybe do a little bit of activity the next day, but then they just have to go right back into the same intense treatment the day after, and they have to do that 3 days a week. So while people on in-center dialysis do that, the treatment does serve to clean their blood of toxins, it really does like literally drain the life from people. There are other types of dialysis, though. And until I experienced this, I had no idea that there were options. This is another thing that doctors don't tell people, that they have options. If you have kidney disease, if you have kidney failure, if you're in end stage renal disease, you do have options. You don't have to go through dialysis in those dialysis centers. And most doctors will not tell people this. I was fortunate in that I was diagnosed by actually my cardiologist doing a regular annual um, heart checkup. And she looks at my numbers and she's like, well, we need to be preparing you for a kidney transplant. And I told her about the terrible experience I had with the first nephrologist. And she said, oh, no, no, we can't, no, no, no. I'm going to refer you to my colleague. And that's how I ended up with the nephrologist I am with now, who told me you're going to do peritoneal dialysis. I had never heard of peritoneal dialysis. I didn't know there was any other kind of dialysis, but you can do peritoneal dialysis, which is where they insert a catheter in your abdomen. They dialysate the fluid that cleans the toxins out of your blood, is pumped into your peritoneal cavity in your abdomen. Your blood never leaves your body. It's cleaned by interacting with the dialysate in your abdomen, and then it's drained out. That can work for a lot of people for a long period of time. But if you had scar tissue from previous surgeries, that's not going to work. So that didn't work for me. They tried it and it didn't work. So now I'm doing hemodialysis. But did you know that you can do hemodialysis at home? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You do not have to do hemodialysis in center. And this is the other thing that I learned. And I also learned that a lot of doctors don't know this, that home hemodialysis, it is common, it is accessible to everybody. You don't have to be rich to do home hemodialysis like it was just 5 years ago. And people can learn to do dialysis at home. Yes, you have to stick yourself with needles. So I have to learn that in the next couple of months. So I have completed the, first phase of training for home hemodialysis, where I've learned how to work the machines. I'm not going to, of course, I'm not going to show you the actual, but this is the site where the catheter is, where I access my blood. I connect myself to a machine. The machine draws the blood out of my body, um, cleans it by, it's kind of complicated, but it cleans it by interacting with a big bag of dialysate. That's the chemical stuff that cleans the toxins out of my blood, and then cycles through, cleans the blood, and then the cleaned blood is returned to my body through the same access. This access is temporary because it eventually clots. So I have had a fistula um, created. They've used my own veins and arteries tied together to create one big vein that I will use to um, carry out treatments. So at the end of this week, I'll be going home with all of the equipment to do hemodialysis at home. I'll be doing it myself, by myself. It is, I'm not going to say that it's easy to learn. It is a learning curve. But if you know someone who is facing kidney disease, end stage renal disease, kidney failure, please have them ask about peritoneal dialysis or home hemodialysis. It is possible. It can be done. It is covered by insurance. It's no one needs to have their life drained out of them at those in-center dialysis. It is, you can do it. If I can do it, anybody else can do it. I'm not crazy about having to learn how to do the needles, but that has to be done. But hundreds of thousands of people do it. So I'm not worried about that. So let me see what you guys have to say in the chat as I've given you my little health update. And by the way, when I do the treatments, my treatments are 4 treatments a week. I forget where my hand is in the camera. My treatments are 4 treatments a week, 3.5 hours per treatment. So 4 days a week, I have to be connected to the machine so it can clean my blood, and I have to be connected to the machine for 3.5 hours. Well, that means I can come here to the studio, work during the day, go home, get my dinner, connect myself to the machine, do my treatment, and go to bed. While I'm doing my treatment for 3.5 hours, I can do a show, I can read a book, I can do whatever for 3.5 hours. So my life is not like completely disrupted. And I am not exhausted after each treatment. Um, I think what I have noticed is that if I am really tired, it's because my nutrients are not balanced out right. Because now my blood is sparkly clean, right? So dialysis also, unfortunately, kind of strips away the nutrients that you need. So I do have to increase my protein, where I had stopped pretty much eating at least, animal protein a lot. So I have to have protein at every meal. I have to increase my protein. So if I'm like markedly tired, it's because my iron is low, because my red blood cell count is low, or because I just need more protein. So, they give me, and I will have to take kind of supplements because I'm on dialysis to deal with the mineral imbalance. But if I'm really, really tired, it's because of that. It's not because the treatment is draining me. Because I right now I drive to the treatment center. I get there at 9. I'm usually on the machine doing the treatment by 10 after I set everything up. 10, 11, 12, 1, 30. I'm usually done cleaning everything up by 2:30. I drive home and I go on about my business, and rarely am I like, oh, I just need to go lay down. That's not how it is at all. And I do feel really good. I can't say that I feel normal. I don't know that there is a normal, but I feel better than I felt in a very long time. Since I've known I've had kidney issues. So that's the progress on the beans in the immediate future. So next week, I'll be back in the studio at work every day regularly. I'm so excited about that. And so I will probably be on the Remix Morning Show next week. And I think that will last for about a month, and then I will have to go back. And once this fistula has matured and it's ready to be used for treatment, then they have to train me on how to stick myself with the needles and all that kind of stuff. That'll probably take maybe another month. And then I'll be doing that. And in the meantime, I'm still searching for a kidney, preferably a living donor. And I am lining up a couple of shows where I'm going to talk to some people who I know, who I didn't even know were had kidney issues. And they're going to talk about their experiences through dialysis and transplanting. And hopefully, I'm going to have somebody to talk about being a living donor, because when I announced that I was going through this, people reached out to me and said, if you ever want to talk about this aspect of this, I'd be happy to, because this happened to me, and I never knew. Some of these people I actually had never met, didn't know, but they followed me on certain outlets. So I'm going to line those up, and we're going to talk about those issues, like what it's really like for other people who for African descended people, Native American people who have either received a transplant or who have been living donors. Um, because the reality is, y'all, and I knew this going in, that a lot of our people really not giving up organs like that, because we have a really terrible, terrible relationship with the medical establishment in this country. Completely understandable. I know that. Um, and I don't want to sound like, well, this is different because I need a kidney, right? But I think that health outcomes for certain groups of people would be more, would be less dire if people within our group were more supportive of people within certain groups who face particular health challenges, right? Like it's daunting to be a person of African descent, um, waiting for a kidney in a largely white medical establishment. That's just for real. You understand what I'm saying? And then facing the completely legitimate mistrust of the medical establishment that Black people have. And you're dealing with people who are like, don't ever be a kidney, don't be an organ donor, they're just going to steal your kidneys, they're just going to steal your organs when you go to the hospital and have the flu. uh, yeah, so yeah, that's a whole nother thing. All right, so let me get to y'all's comments, because I don't want to ignore you, because it's been so long since I've talked to so many of you. Harold Harris is my cousin, all the way out in Tucson, Arizona. Love you too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my cousin. I appreciate you. Let's see what else. Let's see. Emma says, "Wish the U.S. has community health centers in every community where people can come home and help you with this." I'm so glad you said that, Emma, because the very first thing I did when I went to the dialysis center, they didn't, the very first thing they had me do was not put me on a treatment plan. The very first thing they did was to have me meet with a young Black male counselor who explained all of these options to me. So, I mean, and the program that he is a part of is actually a pilot program for dialysis centers, and he travels around giving that kind of education. And it was that kind of education was, it was invaluable in helping me understand what I was facing, helping me be a lot less afraid of what was before me, and helping me to be very hopeful that I would be just fine. And by the way, um, the program that they are on, and the dialysis nurses who work there, and my nephrologist actually act as advocates um, with the transplant teams. So let's say a kidney becomes available, and I'm the next person on the list, and I'm like 5 pounds overweight, because they do have weight requirements, where the transplant team might say, well, you need to lose some more weight, so you're not a good candidate for this kidney. The advocates will step in and say, no, 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 she's done all of her treatments, here's a record of all of the, you see she's consistently and regularly doing her treatment, she's doing what she needs to do, she's taking her medication, she's, so there's no reason for you to deny her this kidney because of a weight issue. right? These kinds of things do happen. And these folks act as advocates for the patients. So I'm just really, anybody you know who is facing kidney issues, please, please tell them that they have choices other than to go through dialysis at an in center treatment center, and that they need to start looking into a transplant. All right, so and I think this kind of care for this type of issue is as close to community health centers as we have, unfortunately. But I mean, maybe if more people know about it, maybe we can build on that, right? So Lady Alex asks, do I have a safety plan while I'm doing this at home if I'm alone? Yes, there are several contingencies that I have. There are several ways that you can emergency stop the treatment, disconnect yourself, disconnect myself and run out of the house if like the house is on fire, there's an emergency. But also, three family members have keys to my house. One of my neighbors has keys to my house. They all know, they all have my cell phone number. They all know, have permission to come into my house. And, if they call and I don't answer, they all have my treatment schedule. So they know when I'm on treatment, so that they know, if you have to come over, just come on in. But if you call and it's during my treatment time and I don't answer the phone, then they know to come. And so yeah, we have contingency plans for all of that. But thank you. That's a great question. That is a great question. Let me see what else. Uh what else y'all got to say? Is that similar process to how Lance Armstrong oxygenated his blood? I don't even know what that. I have no idea what Lance Armstrong did other than he cheated and lied. So I don't I don't know. Um that's what's going on with that. Um let's see. I'm so glad, Dr. Doom, that you are looking up your EGFR number in your online medical records, especially given your type 2 diabetes. Thank you. I am so glad you are looking. Keep an eye on it. My work here is done then. Ah, so let's see. See what I mean? None of the care providers ever told you about EGFR numbers. You need to know. All right, let's see. Let's see what else you got. Let's see. All right, that's the good that's the serious stuff, I think. Oh, let me get to this. Goddess Cruz says telling people they need to lose weight, it is another way to delay or just defer care. It makes the individual bear yet another burden. That's absolutely true, because this actually happened to me with the first transplant team. Now, they approved me for the process overall, but they didn't immediately put me on the list. They determined that I'm healthy enough to go through a kidney transplant, right? But I was still, they told me, well, you have to lose 10 pounds. I was like, all right, cool. So I lose 10 pounds, right? And they say, if you lose 10 pounds, this is coordinator told me that if you lose 10 pounds, we'll schedule a meeting with the surgeon who's going to do the transplant or lead the transplant team, um, and put you on the transplant list, officially put you on the transplant list if you lose 10 pounds. I was like, cool, bet. Lost the 10 pounds, lost more than 10 pounds. The nutritionist on the transplant team called me a couple. Great. I see that you lost 10 pounds and you're actually within the BMI, the body mass index requirements that are needed. And that's really great. You even lost more than 10 pounds, but you need to lose 10 more. And then we'll schedule a meeting with the surgeon with you and put you under transplant. Y'all know I lost my mind, right? Y'all know I was like, excuse me, excuse you. Y'all told me to lose 10, did better than that. And now here you are moving the goalposts. This does not give me a whole nurses. And they were like, yeah, this is why we have all of our patients apply to several, like 4 to 5, sometimes 6 transplant programs at hospitals all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. We have patients who are in transplant programs as far away as North Carolina at Cape Fear Hospital. And so yeah, so this kind of stuff happens. And unless you have someone advocating for you in the face of these kinds of things, you're no match for this system and these people who are indoctrinated with this very ableist, classist, racist, white supremacy. You're not. You need somebody in your corner. So anybody who is facing kidney, Fresenius Kidney Care, Fresenius Kidney Care is the company that is taking care of me. I highly recommend them. They are fantastic. I hope people who are dealing with kidney issues have a Fresenius Kidney Care in your area. All right, that's enough about the serious stuff. So let's talk about some TV stuff, shall we? Because I've been watching a lot. No, video is choppy. There's something going on here with the internet, so it's going in and out. So sorry about that. But has been watching House of the Dragon, or better known as House of Them Dragons, or I like to call it the Dragons and Them Incest Show. That's what it is. The Dragons and Them Incest Show. That's what it is. It's them dragons, y'all, and them people who do them incest. That's what it is. So okay. I am going to give a very short, because I see, Ricky, you said that the B do a show about it. So I'm going to keep my comments about it short. I'm not going to give away all of what I feel about it, but I will say this. I think the fact that the characters who by Black actors kind of changed what those characters and what happened to them meant. And I don't want to give away too much now that I know that the channel is going to do a show, because I absolutely want to be in on that conversation. Um, it is it matters different when the family full of Black folks had the things happen to them that happened on the show. As the characters are written in the book, it's like, well, this is just, kingdoms fighting against each other, and that's kind of typical. But when you look at this particular family, um, facing the challenges they did, meeting the people, meeting the fate they did meet, it means something different when those characters are Black, because those actions take on, right? It's already a situation of where the narrative is, the powerful against the weak, one family wielding its power against the other, and everybody's fighting for control of the Iron Throne. But when one family is represented or portrayed as Black people, then when you look at that from the historical lens of colonizer and colonized, it means something different. It's something that, like, it's what's his face, whichever one. It wasn't Aegon, the evil brother with the patch. It was something different. It meant something different when he stole Vagar from what's her name, from Lane. I mean, it was like, oh, that slick little dude did that just anyway when you read the books, but it means something different when the little white boy steals the dragon of the black princess's Aemon. Thank you, Ricky. I get they really need to get more creative with the names because they all are too similar for me. It's just I can't keep them straight. I mean, but it means something different. Steals that little black girl's dragon from her, from the woman who was the black white. You understand what I'm saying? It means something different. And I mean, I appreciate. I think I get why people. I mean, I get why people are mad that there were black people, literal black people representing this particular group of the Targaryens. I get why they were mad because white supremacists aren't smart; they're just reactionary. Um, that black folks could dare to represent fictional characters, a bunch of people that literally don't exist except for in someone's mind after. And I think if I recall, because I remember reading the books, some of the books, because I didn't even read all of them when I was in, I don't know, first second year of college maybe. um they're like they're like I think they are represented as their skin color is greenish or weird tint and their hair is white. I mean, it's ridiculous that white supremacists are mad that folks who are like green or purple in a book are portrayed by black folks in real life, but nobody said that white is dangerous. you know but I also understand that having those characters represented by people who have historically been colonized and oppressed by Europeans all over the world, it means something different. It does bring a different meaning to those particular stories. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Because I really do, I'm really glad that BPM is going to do this show business to be on there. Um, I like dragons. I just like dragons. I like mythical creatures. I really like dragons. Vagar is that dragon. I want a fat bottom dragon just like Vagar. I really do. Um, I'm not even mad at Vagar. I'm truly not mad. Vagar had she was in her feelings. I'm thinking that Vagar is a girl. Vagar was in. She got stole by that little boy, and ever since she had to dry caress her mama. Come on. Did you think Vagar ever got over that? No. Oh, I feel for Vagar. I'm not even mad. So, you know. All right, that's enough about House of the Dragon. I think that the season finale was really, really good. Um, the dragons do not talk, but at the end of the season finale, I can't figure out if that's the wild dragon that Damon was singing to, that lit up the dragon pit, or if that, I don't know who that was, but that dragon is I think that dragon is going to play prominently in the wars that are coming in season two. And Queen Rhaenyra, she fitting to commit a whole lot of war crimes, y'all. That face that she gave at the end of season true end of this first season, that was the face of I am committing all of the war crimes. And I'm for it. I absolutely am. Did I say Did I say Damon? I hope I said Damon. Yeah. So so yeah. And by the way, I got to tell you, I didn't think Matt Smith would pull off this role at all. But I am so glad I was so wrong cuz he is perfect. Just awful, awful, terrible, terrifying, incestuous. Because he is the uncle husband of Princess Rhaenyra. Yeah, all of that, good stuff, really good stuff. Okay, so the other thing I have been watching has been Rings of Power or them Power Rings. I have not enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed House of the Dragon. I got to tell you, um, I think I always love a good battle scene. I love a good fantasy battle scene. I think the battle scene in Rings of Power was really, really fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the twist after the battle scene that was and the creation of Mordor, where Mordor comes from. I think that was really great. The origins of I had to write this stuff down because all of these fantasy names cannot keep them straight. Um, the origins of Gandalf. I thought that was a really well played kind of a storyline where you're watching it and you're thinking, oh, is that Sauron? And then these other evil characters show up and they think, and then it turns out to be, oh, this is Gandalf. Okay, so that's cool. But then who Sauron really is? Oh my God, that was a lot right there. Um, I really like that. But I think Rings of Power kind of cast some doubt on the goodness of the elves, right? I think if you are to believe the first elf, one of the first elves who's actually leading the army of the orcs, if you're actually to believe what he said about this group of elves who fell away from the elves and started following Sauron and became orcs, then it's like, oh, so maybe the elves in this whole thing after all. And then you kind of look at Galadriel and the way she handles things, and you kind of see, oh, maybe they're a little bit high-minded, power hungry, and a little bit narcissistic and egotistical. And could also be kind of fascistic when you look at the relationship between the elves and the people of Middle Earth, who the people of Middle Earth hated the elves because they were brutal fascists. The elves were supposed to, oh, we're protecting humankind from the orcs. And the people of Middle Earth was, well, the orcs haven't been our problem. Y'all have been. I thought that was really interesting. I really liked the part of the king of the queen of I cannot Nandor. Y'all will tell me, I'll get it right. That was really good, I thought. And I love to pieces the character of Disa. Now you want to talk about black actors representing to see genre that is so well interwoven, and it's just seamless and you don't even think about it. I think Rings of Power does it well. It was nice to see a dude who played the worm. What is his name? What is his name? Let me go. Let me see. In Ismael Cruz Cordova, uh, he plays Arondir. He was the I think he was the worm in Game of Thrones. If I'm not mistaken. And yes, he was sexy juicy in Game of Thrones. Oh, yeah, as the worm in Game of Thrones, and he's sexy juicy as Arondir the elf in Rings of Power. Very nice. So yeah, I really dig that. I really like the character Disa because obviously she a sister, and she is portrayed she is powerful. She is portrayed as very powerful. So she uh, sings a song during a ceremony after a mine collapse. Um, and she's like literally singing to the rocks to let the people trapped in the collapse go alive. And her singing literally moves mountains. And for me, that was like, man, that's like every gospel singer I know. You feel me? And then there's another scene where she is smelting, got the smith's apron on, and she is hammering out a sword. And the whole time she is, because she is the wife of the son of they're not trolls, of the prince of that group of folks, gnomes or whatever you want to call them. I can't remember right now. That's a good indication that I need to move. But they're not. She is portrayed as powerful as her husband is. Right? She's not a shrinking violent. She's not Violet. She's not, a little woman. She is just as she is, but she's also elegant and beautiful. And I just think her character is fantastic. Um, yeah, so I dug Rings of Power, but I didn't enjoy it as much as House of the Dragon. Even though some of the storylines are really, really good. Um, and then I guess the last thing I'm going to admit to watching before I get into trouble is The Walking Dead. Yes, yes, I'm gonna waste my time and see how they finally wrap up that damn show. Um, I know it's not as compelling as it used to be. The Walking Dead. I know Dorian Sapiens. Is it still on? Yes, dear God, it's still on. Um, uh, what is it? This is season 13, 11 or something like that. 11, 13, whatever. But anyway, this is the last of the episodes. Um, and I just really want to see how they're going to finish it. I'm not. I don't think I'm as emotionally invested in it as I was when it first came. I was going to see, and I was trying to see how they were going to um, translate some of the really horrific storylines from the graphic novel onto the small screen. Some they did, some they did not because they could not. Like the actual storyline of the governor, it is so much worse than what they showed on that series. And thank God they did not put that. That was terrible. Um, but I just want to see how it ends. I really do. So what's going on, Kari? Uh, um, and I like her transformation. I really do because I remember like when her character was first introduced, I was like, man, eat her and her husband, throw her and her husband to them zombies. But she grew a spine and she's still around. Um, season 100. And see, this is the thing. Um, this is the end of the original The Walking Dead series, but there will be other spin-offs from certain characters, which if the scuttlebutt is to believed, there will be a spin-off for that will focus on Rick. And because like I told you, Rick is not actually dead. And if you have read the graphic, not dead, and you would know that the reason he's not dead is kind of silly, but it's yeah. But if the rumors are true, there will be another spinoff that is set in Paris and will focus on like the evolution of the zombies to kind of sort of having a some type of brain function. So the zombies are kind of thinking and are beginning to organize. And that series will focus Daryl. So that means that Daryl will survive however this season ends. Um, I don't know if there will be a spinoff involving Michonne, but she's traveling somewhere. So I don't know where that's gonna, be with her. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this the end of this series with the Commonwealth, being a fascist. I mean, I guess it's the culmination of everything that you've seen throughout The Walking Dead, the many episodes that society. Livelihood, the society that will be built upon the collapse of the current society will be another fascist society because people will want comfort and safety so badly that they will give up their idea of freedom and liberty. And I mean, how is that untrue from society that exists right now, right? Because that's the whole point behind The Walking Dead. It's not that the zombies are the Walking Dead, it's that we are the Walking Dead. So, all right, zombie union struggles. I like that. Let's see. Iapo, what's going on? Says if you want to check out something new and good, you may want to read Surviving the Worst. I am gonna check that out. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Tacy said I stopped at season 8. I refuse. Look, I'm not even gonna tell you that you should watch anymore. I just figure I have been committed to it all this time. I really just want to see what they're gonna do to end this series. I to the Commonwealth and Hilltop and all that kind of stuff. Maggie's still around for those of you who don't know. Um, the interesting thing about The Walking Dead is the transition or the what do I want to call it the what's the word I'm looking for? Uh the rehabilitation of Negan. Like Negan, he's not even scary anymore. He is reformed. He is, now he's married to a black lady. He's married. They're about to have a baby. He's all about fighting the bad guys, and he's not a bad guy anymore. So to that end, he's not that interesting anymore. He just has the snark that he has as effective as it was anymore because there's nothing behind the snarkiness but snark. He's not with the snarky jokes and you're like, "Oh my god, he who is he about to kill behind that snarky joke?" Now it's just like, "Oh, Negan is amused at something." Okay. And that's just it. So that's a very weird disappointing. I'm sorry that Negan is not um a bad guy and not even a hint of as evil as he used to be anymore. um so yeah, so that's it. So that is what I've been watching, as opposed to reading. Well, not as opposed to reading, in addition to reading, because I do have a lot of time on my hands. For 3.5 hours I'm just sitting there hooked up on a machine, so I am doing a lot of reading. And I am reading this book right now, Organized, what is this? Black Communist Women's Political Writing. This is edited by Dr. Sharice Burton-Stelly and Jody Dean. And I'm always reading something, but this book is really, really important because it does talk about um, Black women communist organizers who, I swear to God, y'all, they won the battles that we are still fighting. And they talk about the facing today, and they have solutions that they implemented then. And we can learn from what these Black communist women had to say about labor organizing. And I think we can learn that black women had an enormous role in growing the Communist Party of the USA, in labor organizing in this country. And we need to know this history because this is just, we're fighting battles that these people have won. And there's no reason for us to, other than we don't want, I swear to God, I think this country hates communists as much as it hates black people. And we know we already behind the eight ball because we're black, and we just don't want to get that double scrutiny. So, oh my God, no, we don't want to be called communists. But no, black communist women did that work, and they won a lot of these battles. They paved the way for us, and we owe it to ourselves to get this book, Organize, Fight, Win. It is aptly titled Black Political Writing. I'm reading that. What else is in here that I'm reading? Let's see. Oh, I just got my copy of Socialist Reconstruction, A Better Future for the United States. This is from Liberation Media, the publication house of Liberation. I just got it today coming into the studio, so I'm going to jump into this. Very good. Socialist Reconstruction, Better Future for the United States. These are books I carry around in my bag all the time. I finished the one. Okay, so I just have these two. I finished the one by James Thurman. So yeah, I have that. So that is what I have been spending my 3.5 hours doing while I'm on dialysis, watching bad television and reading good books. So I really appreciate you all hanging out with me for a little bit today. Let me go back up and see what you all have to say. Okay, well, cool. I'm glad. I'm definitely going to read it now. It's like, okay, I'll put that on my list. But now that I know you wrote it, okay, good. I'm definitely going to check that out. Let's see. Season 24 of Made in Chelsea. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that is. Is that something I should watch? I'm all for mindless television because organizing work is really it can take a lot out of you. And sometimes I really just want to turn my brain off and watch stupid shit. So that's just the truth. So let's see what else y'all got to say. uh No, I didn't mean that Negan was reformed by marrying black. That was just a part of it. He is reformed. He's not an evil guy anymore. He's married to a black lady. They're having a baby. That's just all I didn't mean to say that he was reformed by marrying a black lady. Okay. I okay. Here's full disclosure. I like horror movies, but there are some horror movies I can't even watch anymore. And the first Hellraiser freaked me out so bad. There are literally, I think, 3 horror movies that I can think of that really bothered me for reasons that I can't exactly put my finger on. But Hellraiser is one I not watch again. And I know it was remade. Abdus loved himself some Hellraiser. He loved every single movie in the Hellraiser series. I would watch a lot of stuff with that guy. He's the only reason I watched every episode of The Sopranos, every season, every episode of The Wire, every season. But when it came to Hellraiser, nope, I was out. I'm like, I am going in the other room. So I will not be watching the remake of Hellraiser. I think the other two cannot watch again are The Exorcist, and I think that's probably everybody's. And then the other one is Beyond the Door. And I think that one really bothered me because, and Beyond the Door, if I remember, was like a ripoff of The Exorcist, right? Um, and I just happened to see one of the streaming services that I subscribe to that Beyond the Door has actually been added to the streaming service. So now I got to delete that screen streaming service. So I never see it, especially now that I'm in that house by myself. Hell no. No, no, no. Mm-mm. I watch my horror movies on Saturdays and Sundays during the day. I don't fuck around. No. So, okay. So, okay. So, uh, Iyapo asked if I've ever watched Primal, animated on Adult Swim. I have not watched that, but I'm going to check that out now. Um, let's see. Yeah, what are y'all watching Halloween? My cousin and I have a tradition where every Halloween we watch Halloween. And even though we know that the new Halloween, Halloween Ends, is going to be terrible, absolutely horrible, we're going to watch it on Halloween. So because it's our tradition, and we like our traditions. So yeah, we're gonna watch Halloween Ends, and look, if it doesn't end this time, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna go after it. We folks in the hood gonna roll up on him, and we gonna end it because it needs to. It actually, it's ridiculous. Um, 40J Blaze asked, what type of sci-fi do I watch? So I really loved The Expanse. I like Star Trek Discovery. I like the original Star Trek. I have not watched all the Star Trek spinoffs, wasn't all that invested into it. Blade Runner, all the Blade Runner movies, actually. But I also like shit like Terminator. I really like post apocalyptic movies. I really do. I think that says a lot about my psychological makeup. But I really do like post apocalyptic movies. Um, yeah, that kind of stuff. It kind of runs the gamut. If it's hard to describe because science fiction is such a hard genre to get right, because a lot of people place too much of an emphasis, I think, on the fiction part and not the science part. So they end up with, really good special effects, but stuff that makes no sense. Like it's a lot. It's just dumb. So I think I like science fiction that so high-minded that it's inconceivable, but it's not, you know, stupid. That's the best I think that I can describe it. Um, I think, what else y'all want to know? What else y'all want to know about what kind of stuff I like to watch? Because I'd be surprising myself sometimes. Oh my God, you did not bring up Toxic Avenger back in the day? Oh my God, back in the day, the Toma movies were get drunk, get high with your friends. I didn't get high, but I got drunk a lot. So yeah, all the Toma movies, those were the cut ups. You hanging out with your friends. Um, yeah, I cannot. So that's just, man, that brings up so many really good memories. Toxic Avenger. Mm. So let me see what else. Paranormal activity. I don't think I watched 3 and 4. One was good. Like with a lot of franchises, after you get past, if 2 is okay, once they get up into 4 and 5, it's like, y'all stop. There's stop. There's nothing scary about this anymore. Mm. Uh, All of Us Are Dead. Very good. There is another season coming out of All of Us Are Dead. I'm really excited about that. Kingdom was really good, although I didn't finish it. Yeah, Kingdom is pretty good. I need to finish that. I don't know why. Um, Believe it or not, Big Teal, I'm not crazy about ghost movies because by myself. by myself, and I ain't fucking around. So, um, but I like the last ghost movie that I saw. Oh, actually, no, it was a series on Netflix. What is the name of this series? About a bunch of kids who are in they have terminal diseases, and they're all in staying in this house that has a ghosty history. And I'm trying to look up the name of the series right now because I cannot remember it because it is actually very, very uh doggone it. It's on Netflix. And let me see if some of y'all can please tell me what the name of this thing is because I cannot remember it right now. Doggone it. And I literally just binge watched it like 2 weekends ago. Mm. And I have to be careful not putting my finger there because it'll show up. Where are you? Where is it? I can't find it right now, but it is on Netflix. It is a Netflix series, and it is literally about a bunch of teens are all who all have terminal illnesses. They're staying at a uh what's it called? A hospice that has a haunted history, and it's actually pretty good. It's from the people who did My Brain Cells Are Like, nope, not doing it, not thinking about any of those things. But yeah, find it on Netflix. It shouldn't be difficult to find. That was very good. Somebody mentioned Altered Carbon. The first series of Altered Carbon was great. Second season was okay, it was all right. But yeah, Altered Carbon was very, very good. Um, Casper is friendly. So I'm pretty sure I told you guys this, but when I went to Colombia last year, and this came up on Facebook in my Facebook memories that I last year, this day, today, last year, I left Colombia after being there for 10 days, and I had a reading from the Ianifa and the Babaloa after Abdus had passed, and they relayed some messages from him to me, and the Ianifa said, he is still here and he doesn't want to leave, because he doesn't want to leave until he knows you're all right. So when you go home, he will still be there, and you will need to light a candle. You will have to help him ascend because he doesn't want to leave you. Uh, have to help him ascend, and so when you go home, he will be there, and you will hear things and you will see things. And this is in the middle of the reading now, and I said, no, I won't. And no, I'm not going to hear or see anything. He knows better. He knows damn well. If he has anything to say to me, he better say it right here and right now. He better not be going to that house, moving nothing, saying nothing. No, he knows better. So, so as much as I have felt Mr. Lukemon's presence, and a couple of things have happened where it was like, oh, yo, this dude is here, and he is not happy with something I did. And I'll tell you about that one day. That was really funny. But yeah, he knows he knows better. So yeah, I don't. And my family, like probably like most Black Southern families, we've had experiences with loved ones on the other side of the veil. I don't fuck with ghosts. so, so yeah. Um, Let me see, because isn't this fun? This is a lot of fun. Let's see what else. Because I saw some other really good comments that you had that were really good. You guys had altered carbon. Carter. Yeah. I I I swear I kept passing by that. Action movies are another thing that I love, by the way. And I really love just the ultra violent for no reason. So the John Wick movies, I love them. I understand they're terrible, but I love them. And Carter was, yo, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, I was literally bored one night because I did not have anything else to watch. There was nothing new on. It was Saturday. I'm like, I'm not reading anything serious. My brain is tired. I just really need to veg out. What can I watch? I'm like, what is this Carter business? Oh my God, that junk is banging. That was so good. So yes, Carter is one of those movies. I love a good action movie. Carter was a, a great surprise. It was a really great surprise. Um, Iapo asked, "What is a movie that was supposed to be scary, but I watched it and said that weren't scary worth a damn." Um, this movie called what was it? The Lake House, and this is actually a ghost story. No, not the Lake House. That was uh also one of those Netflix movies. It was something house. Doggone it. See, this is how I know I watch too much television. I watch too much TV, watch too many movies. I cannot keep the name of my movie straight. But it was this movie about this woman who her husband dies, and apparently he was into some weird cult S&M bizarre type of shit that she didn't know about, and he was haunting her, and it was supposed to be, it was billed in the papers. Oh, and I'm watching the thing on Saturday during the day, and I'm just like, what? This isn't, first of all, the Night House. Thank you, Emma. Thank you. The Night House. Not even close. No, it was just like, first of all, why are you even haunting her? She didn't even know. It made no sense. It was stupid. It was really stupid. Old Boy, yep, that's one of my favorites. Old Boy on Netflix is one of my favorites. No, this is not Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, The Lake House. Oh my gosh. Yeah, mm. So that's it. That's me, y'all. That's what's going on with me. I am okay. I'll continue to deal with the do treatments. I'll be doing them at home starting the end of this week. Which of course means that I'm only free to run around the streets 3 days a week because I'll have to be at home 4 days a week. But I'm gonna make them 3 days count. I'll be every day in the studio next week here on By Any Means Necessary for at least a month, and then I go back to training to learn how to use. um, at least for that month, I'll be back on Black Power Media's Remix Morning Show. Most mornings, very, very excited to get back to that. And I will be back to regular sessions with you, regular People's Power lunches with you here in Lukman Nation. This Friday, I do plan to have a Black Economically Speaking with Dr. Linwood Tawheed. I had to put off last week's show because I was recovering from, but yeah, I am okay. I am progressing on. I am moving, and just really, really thankful that you guys continue to support me. It's really, really good to see all of you in the comments. I really appreciate you so very much, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Be good to yourselves, be very good to each other, and as always, a luta continua. The struggle continues, but I promise you, Victoria acerta, victory is certain. Peace, y'all.